In this video, I'm building a fully custom exhaust for my Audi S4. This is my first time ever welding an exhaust. I have zero experience building anything like this, and I just picked up this $200 welder on Amazon to do this project. That being said, this ends up being one of the best sounding exhausts that I've ever heard for this platform because of one little trick. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this is my 2010 Audi S4. I bought this car in New Jersey last year and did a ton of work there to get it sorted out mechanically. We also did some modifications out there with some stickier tires, a new intake, and a resonator delete. For what it's worth, I think the resonator delete is a very good option for $300 to increase the volume of this car. That being said, I think there's one inherent flaw with the stock exhaust that we're going to change in this video. The 3.0T in this car is one of Audi's best engines in my opinion. It's super torquey, it's tunable, it makes cool supercharger noises, and for the most part, they're actually pretty reliable. But one of the worst traits of this engine has to be the exhaust note. So in this video, I'm teaching myself how to weld, and I'm going to spend 4 days building my first ever fully custom exhaust to try and fix that. This right here is my current welding setup. All of this was bought on Amazon for 500 bucks. The welder is a $200 welder. The table was $100, and the only thing I really splurged on was a nice helmet because I like my vision and I like being able to see out of my eyeballs, so protection is important. But other than that, I went with some of the most basic equipment you can buy. This is a Thulium TL200. It does TIG welding, which is for stainless steel, and I think you could do stick welding with it. Other than that, I had to buy a cylinder of argon gas, and that's it. This is a very basic setup, and I've been teaching myself over the past couple months how to weld with this, and I think I'm at a point where I want to stop just wasting these resources on practice material, and I want to start actually building something. Right here are some of my very first welds ever, just trying to weld 2 pieces of pipe together. And you can tell it was pretty rough from the start. And I've been practicing more and more. And right here is a more recent piece, I want to say. They're not even remotely close to being perfect, but it's absolutely getting closer. And this stuff is expensive. I want to stop wasting gas and filament and stainless steel pipe on just practice pieces. And I want to start making an actual exhaust for a car so that all these resources aren't just going into useless pieces of pipe that won't do anything in the future. This is the downpipe right here. It is so hard to get to. Thankfully, I've already replaced the hardware once, and it's a little easier because normally you have to go from the top of the engine. Let's see if I can go for an easy one. There we go. This is hardware from Harbor Freight, and it holds up so much better. Nice. The stock exhaust is fully off the car. Now, as you guys might remember in the first episode, I did put a mid pipe on this car, which deletes a resonator, and it does create this X here, which allows the 2 banks of cylinders to blend the sound together. Now, no fault of this X pipe. This is a cheap $300 mod that you can do to the stock exhaust to gain some volume. I think what we're trying to fix here really is more so this engine's fault rather than the X pipe's fault. Any kind of modification that you do to this exhaust usually sounds not that great. It gets louder, but this setup is currently raspier than I would like. Although it doesn't drone, which is fantastic, I think the actual tone of it can be improved. So here's my plan. My plan here is to replace this dual exhaust section with a single big 3-inch pipe. This is absolutely massive, and I think having this running somewhere down the middle like that is gonna sound so much better. Now, in addition to that, I've also got vibrant ultra quiet resonators. I have two that are 2.5 inch for the rear and one that's 3 inch for the midsection. These vibrant resonators are some of the best when it comes to tone and just canceling out that raspy, droney sound. Now, I think the first step is probably to chop these stock downpipes. All right, I got these two downpipes now. They have the resonators from the factory exhaust cut off of them. And this is what I'm gonna use as my starting point to build the exhaust. Now, I need to convert this to 2.5 inch. I'm gonna try and weld some stainless steel onto this, stainless steel 2.5, and then from there I can build my exhaust out of 2.5 and 3 inch. I don't even know if you can weld stainless steel to whatever this metal is. It's definitely not stainless because it's magnetic and it's kind of stained. This is my welding station. This is where I'm going to be doing most of the work on this project. The process we're using today is called TIG welding, and you use a torch like this, which creates an arc of electricity to your piece of metal and essentially melts the metal. And then using some filler wire like this, you basically sit there and you fill in that puddle of molten metal with this wire, and then hopefully you get a beautiful, strong weld by the end of it. I'm actually pretty happy with how these turned out. They're not the cleanest, but the color's nice. They look really good, and I'm sure they'll hold nicely. Now we have an actual nice piece of stainless that we can weld to. And I think the next thing I'm gonna do before I do anything on the car is try and build some sort of a Y-pipe so that I can merge these two together. It's kind of difficult to build a Y-pipe. You have to cut it kind of crazy angles. I'm gonna try and figure it out as I go. I ended up making two Y-pipes here, one for the front of the car to merge the two downpipes together, and one for the rear of the car to split the exhaust back into two mufflers, since this is a dual exit exhaust that I want for the back of this car. I used a chop saw to chop down a couple different pieces of metal and weld them back together in a way that made a Y-pipe, one that's a little more narrow of an angle for the front and one that splits wider for the rear of the car. Here she is, my first Y-pipe. It looks awful actually. Welding the V right there did not go very well, but I think it's solid and it'll do for now. It's a 3-inch Y into two 2.5-inch pipes, and this is gonna go at the front here, so this is gonna come off of that. Obviously, we'll need to join that up. This is the one I built for the rear of the car. Again, the welding just did not work very well in the valley here. I had to use a grinder and way too much material, but it'll hold, and I think that's nice and strong. Anyway, 3-inch pipe into two 2.5-inch pipes. This will go at the rear of the car. So now we have the front Y pipe, the rear Y pipe. Now we need to start putting this stuff on the car and actually attaching some things. All right, my two downpipes are supported. Now I gotta figure out a connection here, but it looks like my Y pipe is too wide. So I'm gonna trim this down as well. Okay, great. Woohoo! All right, this is my test fit of the Ypipe. Moment of truth. Ooh, I think that looks pretty good. Dang, let's go. Now I'm gonna take some V-bands and I'm gonna weld them to these pipes so that there's an easy disconnect point and it allows kind of for a little flexibility. All right, that guy's tacked in place. This is not going well. Wow, those are hard to weld. Maybe because they're so thick. There we go, I'm getting the hang of it now. All right, well, I think that looks pretty good. Wow, that's it. Let's fucking go, dude. Oh, it's beautiful. This is so sexy. Look at that V-band, perfectly sealed up. I could cry. This is something I've been wanting to do for years. Now we gotta go further back. We got a lot of room right there for a resonator. And then all the way out the back. Up next, I gotta figure out how to hang this thing. So I got this exhaust hanger here. I think something like that looks good. First, I'll probably shorten this guy. It is time to attempt to weld underneath the car. This is gonna be so difficult. Let's see if I can do it. Can't see shit. I think that worked very loosely. I might as well be doing this blind. I can't see shit. Nope. Fuck. Trying this again. Come on, baby. This is it. Oh my God, not even a little bit. Oh, maybe I need some filler wire. Whew. Think I got it. It's so ugly, but it's gonna do it. I see why people don't do this on jack stands. Here's where I'm at. I got it sort of tacked in place there, and I got a very ugly one tacked in place there. I ordered these hangers in the wrong material. They're not stainless. That's why they're welding up so poorly. Anyway, it holds. This exhaust is now fully self-supported. Now this next section's a little tricky because it needs to fit under this subframe here. Here's the pipe I have for this. Let's do a little test fit now that our exhaust hangers are in. That looks pretty good. Got it tucked up nicely in there. Then we'll go into this Ypipe that I made earlier. It's starting to come together, fellas. There it is. Awesome. Wow, it turns out it's actually easy when it's the right material. So here's the full system as it sits right now. The next step is to tack this Ypipe onto the end here. And then I think what I'll do is probably reinforce the rest of this exhaust with some more tacks, fully weld on these pesky hangers, and then try and get this thing on the car again and keep building out the rear section. now time to actually weld up this whole thing. I want to weld this now because there might be a chance that some of this warps a little bit, and before I build the rest of the back of the exhaust, I just want to make sure that all the warping happens before I do any more measuring. So I'm going to weld this whole thing up now. Should be a nice bit of practice for me, and hopefully it looks good. I think that fits really nicely. I'm gonna make another Y-pipe here that will come out to 2 exhaust tips, but for now, that looks pretty good. Now that I've got a rough position for that muffler, I can come down here and I just have to make a pipe that connects this to this. Right here, I've got a couple things. These are a bunch of pie cuts that I'm gonna use to connect the mufflers to the rest of the exhaust. These are angled cuts of pipe, and you can kind of puzzle these together in a way that will hopefully connect the 2 ends of the exhaust. This has been an insanely long process, but things are going very well here. This is currently where I'm at with the passenger side rear muffler. I kind of tacked up some different pieces that steer this pipe in the right direction. Also, for now, I only have a single tip. I'm waiting for the dual exit tips to come in the mail, but that's gonna take a few days. But I really wanna hear how this thing sounds, so I'm gonna finish this passenger side muffler up, weld it all together, drop the car down, and go for a drive, because I can't wait to hear this thing. These look pretty good. I'm happy with these. They're not perfect yet. They're not even close to perfect, but for my first exhaust, I think these turned out pretty nice. They're not super even. I need to work on the control. I just have shaky hands as well, which doesn't really make it easier, but the color's nice on them. There's no oxidation anywhere. The V-bands welded up really nice as well, and especially on this side, I don't know what Vibrant puts in their metal, but the Vibrant muffler side welds up so nicely without any filler. Yeah, very happy with how that turned out. I wish the rest of the exhaust looked like that. But that'll be for the next one. I want to do an exhaust system for the 996, for the, I don't even know if you guys know that car yet, so I'm not going to say the name of it. You probably saw it in the background of this video. And yeah, hopefully this is something I can use on every project I do from here on out and make something custom. Let me finish this up and then we can see if it really sounds as good as I think it will. It's done. I can't believe it, but it's done. 4 days of work and here it is. So stoked with this. I mean, is it perfect? Absolutely not, but I can't believe I built this right here in the garage on some jack stands with the $200 Amazon welder. I gotta add, that thing is awesome. I'll leave a link in the description. It's not sponsored. I'm gonna stare at this thing for a while, then I'll put it on the car and drive it, but I won't bore you guys with putting it all back together. You've seen enough of that. Let's hear how it sounds. Before we take a listen to this thing, I want to give a quick thank you to this week's video sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is an incredible all-in-one website building platform that I've been using for over 7 years. Whether you want to launch a business like the merch site that I made using Squarespace or host a portfolio for something like your photography, Squarespace has an incredible all-in-one website building platform. Their 24/7 customer service is incredibly helpful, and I use it all the time to help me figure out little design details. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can hit the link in my description for a 14-day free trial of Squarespace, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Wheelemverb for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. I think that 3-inch mid-pipe really just creates a beautiful smooth tone out of the V6 that sounds maybe closer to like an R35. GTR, I think, is the closest thing I could compare it to. The vibrant ultra quiet resonators also just take out all of the rasp, and there's very minimal drone with this exhaust, which is just amazing. I'm so happy with how this turned out for my first full custom catback. Please let me know what you thought of this exhaust in the comments down below. I'm curious to hear what your guys' opinions are. I'm back on the upload, so if you're not subscribed already, please hit that button down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.